because I'm working on, you guys know we're about to hold the class, goal achievement class for 2017 as we're going in. And I just was writing one of the emails that we're going to be sending out this week. And I entitled it, How to Set and Achieve My Goals and Create the Life I Love Within 60 Days. Pretty much, well, I want you to learn how to do that. That's what I did. So I want to share with you my experience. And as I started to think about at what point in my life that I started to pivot, what point in my life that things started to change, and I was recalling the time when I had moved to the DC area. And when I moved to this area, you guys, oh, I need a battery. I was in for a rude awakening because being somebody from the South, I was originally from Charleston, South Carolina. I moved from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way to California, and totally two different worlds. I always say I had a culture shock when I went to California, and then Southern California, and then I decided to come from California back to the East Coast, to the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, which is quite different, than the South, and it is quite different. So I soon started to realize that there was not only difference with the people, was not only difference in terms of the culture, but it also was different in terms of the standard of living. And I started to realize that my lifestyle of being frazzled, being frustrated, kind of having, subconsciously I had attitude that I was waiting for my prince and, with his knight in shiny armor to come through and sweep me out of my feet, and then life would be all A-okay. That I had to change my mentality, that I had to change my mindset. I had to just change the way I was being. When I moved here, it was kind of like, I don't know if I want to say no, it wasn't necessarily rock bottom, but in terms of I moved here and I was living with my aunt. She had a 1-bedroom apartment and I was staying with her on her living room floor. And I stayed there for like almost 9 months because I had a job, but I had just had this job maybe like 15 months because I had transferred my job, and I had the job for maybe 15 months. But before that, when I was a financial advisor, like I had lost a lot of money. Like I had lost over $10,000. I had $10,000 saved, but before I started that job back in like 2006-ish, let's say. And then I lost all of that by trying to invest in this business endeavor. And not only that, I had tons of debt. So when I had got my job in 2008, I still was trying to get my feet underneath me because I still had to recover from the recession. I was in a personal recession that I was in. So when I moved here, my aunt lived here at the time. She's since passed away. I decided to move in with her. So I moved in with my aunt in her 1-bedroom apartment, and was dating this guy. And I soon started to realize that, like I said, the way I was going about life, it was not going to cut it. Coming in, fashionably late, showing up whenever I wanted to show up, it just wasn't going to cut it. That was not the accepted norms here. The accepted norms was not you just kind of waiting around to get married and waiting for this man to kind of sweep you under your feet. No, you had to be a mover. You had to be a shaker. You had to kind of be, pulling in the guns, doing what you needed to do to make things happen. And what I decided to do is I decided to eventually move out of my aunt's house. So out her apartment. So after a year, I moved out of my auntie's apartment, and about 9 months into it. And I end up, is anybody there? I'm not seeing nobody, but I guess people catch the replay. You guys are not used to me going live on my personal page, my personal business page. But anyway, even if you guys are watching the replay, I guess I should introduce myself. But even if you guys are watching the replay, I want to encourage you to write comments because I'll go back. I'm going to start scoping more from my business page, at least definitely this week. So let me just take a minute and introduce myself. My name is Jill Bullock, and I'm extremely passionate about equipping folks in the kingdom to catch their whole life, everything from their mission to their mate. That's what I do. I am passionate about helping you to create the life that you love so you can attract the love of your life and have a Christ-centered marriage that is so amazing and phenomenal, very similar to some degree to what I have and what I've been able to create with my husband and I. So, but it didn't start there, although that's the end goal, or, the end in mind in terms of family, having that family goal. That definitely is not where it began. So excuse my attire. It's just totally impromptu. I wasn't planning on getting on anybody's live, but this story and this part of my life just was so impactful that I wanted to share it. And I wanted to be a little vulnerable to you guys and come on and share my truth. So anyway, I moved out with my auntie and I decided to get my own place. And which was a big move, because getting your own place in this area, like, is like you're talking at least $1,100-$1,200 you're going to be paying for rent. And I had lived in, you know, I've always had roommates and things like that, you know, especially coming out of college, coming out of Cali, I always had roommates. But this was the first time that I was going to live on my own. So you guys, I didn't shy away, like, and I knew that I wanted this to be the last time. Also, I wanted it to be the last time. As I got, you know, when I was moving into there, I was like, okay, I want something different. I want to pivot. So I got my own place. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. And then why, you guys listen, why did I have the audacity to make this a whole full-blown housewarming? A full-blown housewarming. Like, I had over 20 people that came out to this event. I had my sister Kay Elizabeth. She flew in for an apartment housewarming. Who does that? For an apartment housewarming, I had my sister Kay Elizabeth flew in. I had my longtime friend Sonia. She ended up flying in from Atlanta. So I had people flying in from South Carolina, Atlanta. I had over 20 people at this little housewarming in my living room, which barely could fit all these people. And Kay Elizabeth helped me decorate it so nice, you know. But then what I do after that? Okay, so I had this big housewarming, you know, and I called it Humble Beginnings. Humble Beginnings. And the reason I call it Humble Beginnings because it wasn't humble beginning for me. It was me, you know, I always wanted, for example, to be a homeowner. I thought by this time, you guys, I'm talking about, I was 27 years old. This is not that young. I was like 27 years old. I thought by this time, surely I would have already been married. Surely I would have already owned a home, probably already had kids. You know, I thought that all this would have been happening. And I'm finding myself celebrating over having the first time having my own place. You know, and earlier it really just brought me to tears just thinking about, you know, how pivotal that decision was to really recognize that as a true accomplishment, you know. And I just want to encourage you guys to do the same thing, you know, whether that is right now, maybe in your life, you're like, okay, I know I need a change. What I've been doing last year, what I did the year before is not going to work. I can't truly say, if you're sitting in this place right now watching this video and say, I can't truly say that I have created a life that I love, then I want you to think about what is that thing that you can do right now that you can start creating the life that you love. For me, it was just getting my own place, and not only that, celebrating that, because it was a major accomplishment for me. Like I told you, people was flying 500, 750 miles across the country to take part in this event for me, and it was so important for me. And I even, like I said, I titled it Humble Beginnings, and I gave everybody that attended, I created a frame. And I created it saying Humble Beginnings, and I wrote everybody a personal message. I typewritten it. It was in a frame. Was Taryn there? I feel like Taryn might have been there too. You know, I can't remember if Taryn came from Cali. I felt like she was there. I can't remember. But I just knew I invited everybody, and it was like a big deal. This was not like just, I got a new place, woohoo. I made it a big deal. And I want to encourage you that if there's anything in your life that you're doing right now that you plan on doing, make sure that you celebrate yourself and make it a big deal, because everything makes such a big difference. I'm going to tell you, this was the catalyst to me changing the trajectory of my life. It was a one big stepping stone, me having my own place, me not relying on anybody, me, you know, just coming into the woman that God was creating me, and me having that level of responsibility was such a big deal. And I celebrated, and I want you guys to do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I want you to get to the place where we're going to have to identify what's that one thing for you that's going to be the catalyst. I knew when I titled this Humble Beginning and I had all these people flying out, I knew this was just the beginning of a bigger journey that God had me on and that he was moving me towards. And so, speeding up, you know, I had the housewarming, everything went well, you know, and I can't remember exactly how much time had passed, but within that next year, you know, I was constantly making little steps towards being the best version of myself. And like I said, getting this place was one of them. And within, I don't remember, let me say a year or so, year and a half, because it was that September. I feel like it was September. And then it was September. And also, I got to say this, I'm trying to remember, this was some time ago. But also, one thing for me, it was like I wanted to, because I also had been in a crazy relationship that summer that didn't work out, and I ended up with my heart totally shattered, totally broken, and God was telling me that this guy was not the one, and that this relationship, don't, you know, get intimate with this guy because it was going to end, and obviously he was my husband, and so many reasons, but I didn't do that. And I said, you know what, this is going to be the last time I make a fool of myself. This is going to be the last time that I sit around like a stump on the log, waiting for somebody to choose me, waiting for somebody to pick me and claim me. I'm going to start living the life I love. So it started with me getting my own place. I got connected with different people, friends, and I started doing things and getting out and creating an amazing life. I remember that I went skiing that winter, actually twice. I feel like I went skiing twice, at least one time. It was amazing. We were supposed to go one time, but then it was too hot. And we ended up going a second time, and it's just, my life just started to shift and change. And little by little, you know, my life became unrecognizable. I became unrecognizable. And that happened in September. By February of that next year, I had met my husband. You know, I didn't know he was my husband, but I met him. But the things that I had did the 5 months prior, by me setting those pivotal goals, you know, and being very intentional about my actions and saying, hey, these are the things I need to do to get my life together. I need to get my own place. You know, I need to purge myself emotionally. I need to get involved with the youth ministry. There was so many goals that I had that I strategically set, not so much for the end goal of the man. It was like, I need to get me together. As I like to say, I had to catch my whole life, because my life was in shambles. It was all over the place. It just was not, I didn't have any vision. I have a direction. I have a vision for my life. I didn't have a vision for my marriage. I just was doing me. I was just living every day. And I believe that too often people are doing that. You know, you may not know, but we do have a goal setting workshop that's coming up. It's called Goal Achievement Planning Virtual Workshop that's coming up, and it's coming up on December 29th. And we're going to be talking about setting your relationship goals and getting your relationships in order. And how many of you know that the main relationship that you have to get in order is the relationship with yourself? And that's where I started. Well, really with God, you know, but me and God was cool, and I had to square it away with him. So I was like, something with me, you know, something's going on with me, and I need to get me together. And at that point, that's what I started to do. So I want to encourage you guys to join us on this journey, because it's a phenomenal journey. That we're going to be experiencing together, and the same things that I experienced with changing my life within pretty much 60 days, making my life unrecognizable. And then as a result of that, as I started to create the life that I love, I started to attract amazing people in my life, men and women alike. And before you knew it, the next conversation me and my husband was having, my boyfriend at the time, was about marriage and him wanting to make me his wife, because I had did the work. I had laid the foundation, had the foundation with God. I had the foundation with myself. And then now it was time for me. Now I was ready to love others. So anyway, you guys, I just wanted to do a preview. Like I said, this whole thing brought me to tears, because I didn't realize how pivotal this time was. You know, looking back. At the time, I knew it was pivotal, because obviously I did this humble beginnings, and obviously I had all these people. But just kind of as I thought about it and reflected today, it was like, wow. You know, Kay Elizabeth was there, and Sonia was there. I believe Tara might have even been there. All of my cousins and my aunties from this area came, and it was just such a big deal, and it was such a pivotal moment in my life. And I want you to start doing the same thing. But one thing I know, you have to start writing those goals down. You have to be strategic. You have to be intentional and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I desire. This is the vision for my life. This is the vision for my family. You know, and sometimes people think it's bad to have a vision to be married, or it's bad to have a vision to desire a husband. No, the devil is a liar. You know, it's not bad. It's bad to sit there on the stump on a log and wait for it to fall in your lap. It's bad to keep doing the same thing that you've been doing and expecting the different results. You know what I'm saying? It's bad to think that everything is just going to fall into your lap and you don't have to put in the work. That's where the problem comes in. But anyway, I love you guys. My phone's about to die. I just wanted to jump on really quick. Look like a hot ghetto mess. No, well, not that I look like a hot ghetto mess. I just have my wife beater on, no makeup, which, and thank God that I'm still cute with no makeup and all. But anyway, I just wanted to come in and share with you with that, because it just was so touching. Hopefully you guys are signed up on our list. You still can sign up at tinyurl.com/ Achieve 2016, and it show you a little more information about the goal setting in the workshop that's coming up. With the workshop, it's going to be a small fee associated with that workshop, but it's going to be worth every penny plus so much more. So anyway, if you want to sign up and gain part of the community and get on this train as we talk about how to set and achieve your goals as you move into 2017, I encourage you to go to tinyurl.com/achieved2017. Love you all. Be blessed. Have a great day.